I'll never forget that sterile clinic room, the fluorescent lights buzzing overhead like angry bees, the mirror on the wall reflecting a stranger back at me as the doctor stepped away with a satisfied nod. It was a Tuesday afternoon, rain pattering against the windows of the downtown medical center, the air thick with the sharp scent of antiseptic and fresh bandages. My name had been Mark, software developer, weekend hiker, the guy who blended into crowds without a second glance. But that day, everything changed permanently. It started as an experiment, a deep-seated curiosity I'd buried for years, fueled by late-night forums and whispered confessions online. I'd saved up for months, researched clinics specializing in gender-affirming procedures, and finally booked the appointment for what they called comprehensive feminization therapy. Hormones injected deep into my muscles for ongoing release, subtle surgeries for facial softening, cheek implants to add volume, jaw contouring to slim the angles, brow lift for a more open expression, even a tracheal shave to erase the Adam's apple completely. Breast implants for that natural, feminine curve I dreamed of, liposuction from my abdomen with fat grafted to my hips and buttocks for an hourglass figure. Voice feminization surgery adjusted my vocal cords for a permanently higher pitch. No going back. This was irreversible, a deliberate leap into the unknown I'd craved in my quietest moments. As the anesthesia wore off, my head throbbed, body a map of aches, stitches pulling taut under bandages, and I sat up slowly, the nurse helping me to the mirror propped on a rolling stand. My reflection hit like a thunderclap, stealing my breath and sending my pulse skyrocketing. Skin smoother than ever, almost luminous under the harsh clinic lights, high cheekbones now prominent and framing eyes that seemed wider, more doe-like and expressive, with lashes naturally curled from the subtle perm they'd added during recovery. Lips fuller and more defined, plumped with hyaluronic fillers that throbbed faintly like a fresh bruise, tinted a soft pink from the medicated balm the nurse had dabbed on to aid healing. My chest, oh God, the new weight there was undeniable. Subtle C-cups under the loose surgical gown, tender and unmistakably real, rising and falling with my panicked, shallow breaths. Hips curved outward dramatically from the fat grafts, creating a sway I'd never had, while my waist appeared nipped in contrast, the overall silhouette screaming feminine. Hair extensions woven in seamlessly during the procedure, falling in soft blonde waves to my shoulders, catching the light like spun gold and framing my transformed face. I touched my face tentatively, fingers, now ending in neatly manicured nails polished a neutral beige by the clinic's esthetician, trembling against the velvety, swollen skin. "This is me now," I whispered, my voice raspy from the intubation but noticeably higher, softer, and melodic from the vocal cord adjustment they'd performed. Disbelief surged first, a tidal wave crashing over me. Had I really committed to this? Was this permanent choice a colossal mistake that I'd regret for life? Fear clawed at my insides like icy fingers. What if the pain never faded? Or worse, what if society rejected this new me outright? What if I couldn't even recognize myself in a month? But beneath the terror, curiosity ignited, warm and insistent, like a flame kindling in the dark. I tilted my head experimentally, watching the blonde waves sway gently, feeling the small diamond studs they'd pierced in my ears tug with emotion. Excitement flickered like a forbidden spark. How would clothes feel on this body now? How would the world perceive Marissa, the name I'd chosen long ago in my dreams? The name echoed in my mind, rolling off my tongue like destiny when I tested it aloud. The doctor returned, clipboard in hand, his voice calm and reassuring. "Take it easy for a few weeks, Marissa. The swelling will subside in about 10 days, but the foundational changes are set in stone. Call the office if you need pain management or have any concerns." I nodded numbly, heart pounding with a mix of suspense and dread, every nerve ending alive and hyper-aware. The door to the outside world loomed at the end of the hallway, rain-streaked windows blurring the bustling city beyond. I dressed gingerly in the loose sweats and oversized shirt they provided, the fabric grazing my sensitive new skin in ways that sent shivers down my spine, and stepped out into the downpour, legs shaky in the simple canvas flats. This wasn't a trial run or a temporary disguise, it was forever, and the shock left me breathless, curious, terrified, and strangely, profoundly alive. The first days back home were a whirlwind of disruption, my cozy apartment in the quiet suburbs suddenly feeling like alien territory under this new, irrevocably altered skin. Wednesday morning, I woke to sunlight streaming through half-closed blinds, casting warm, golden stripes across the rumpled white sheets of my queen bed. My body protested every tentative movement, the tenderness in my chest a constant, aching reminder as the implants settled into place, sending sharp twinges with each breath, my hips sore and bruised from the fat grafts, making even rolling over a challenge, my face swollen like I'd been in a gentle fight, cheeks puffy around the new implants. I avoided the full-length mirror mounted on the closet door at first, shuffling to the kitchen for coffee, the familiar aroma of fresh grounds brewing in my drip machine grounding me slightly amid the chaos. But necessity's forced confrontation. Showering with the gentle, fragrance-free soap the clinic had recommended, warm water cascading over the waterproof bandages I couldn't remove yet, stinging the incision sites but soothing the overall ache. Drying off carefully with a soft towel, I caught unavoidable glimpses in the foggy bathroom mirror. Curves where there'd been straight lines, skin hypersensitive to the fabric's touch, a body that moved with a new, unfamiliar grace. Work was the first major casualty in this disrupted life. As a remote software developer for a mid-sized tech firm, I logged in from my home office setup, a cluttered desk with dual monitors in the spare room, but video calls were mandatory for daily stand-ups and team check-ins. I dressed minimally to hide, a loose hoodie zipped high to conceal the chest bandages, baggy pants over the hip padding, but my face, softened jawline, fuller lips, reduced brow, betrayed everything under the webcam's unforgiving glare. The meeting started promptly at 9 a.m., colleagues popping up on screen one by one. "Mark? You look different. Everything okay after your medical leave?" My boss, Karen, asked immediately, her brow furrowing in concern over her coffee mug. My voice, still adjusting and hoarse but permanently pitched higher, came out in a soft lilt. "Yeah, just had some procedures done. Nothing major." Lies were already piling up like code errors. Teammate Josh leaned closer to his camera, chuckling awkwardly. "Dude, you sound like you inhaled helium or something. And your face, is that Botox?" Laughter rippled through the virtual room, and embarrassment burned my swollen cheeks hotter than the post-op inflammation. I muted myself quickly, heart racing like a faulty algorithm, confusion swirling in my mind. Why did their innocent stares feel so invasive, so judging? The call dragged on for 30 minutes, every offhand comment a stark reminder of the seismic shift in my existence. Family disruption came crashing in mid-afternoon, inevitable and gut-wrenching like a bug in production code. My brother, Dave, called while I paced the living room, the plush carpet soft under my bare feet, trying to ease the hip soreness. "Hey, bro, how's life treating you? You sound off. Catching a cold or what?" His voice boomed through the speakerphone, familiar and jovial. I hesitated, gripping the phone tighter, then answered, my new tone betraying me instantly. "Mark? Seriously, you sound different. Mom's been worried since you haven't called in weeks. Family dinner Sunday, you in?" Social tension built like static in the air. I imagined their shocked faces if they saw Marissa in the flesh, the questions, the potential rejection. Fear gripped my chest tighter than the bandages, something like that with the voice. "Maybe next week for dinner, still recovering." He pressed on, concern lacing his words. "Recovering from what? Spill it, man." Confusion deepened within me, embarrassment at hiding this monumental truth, fear of their love turning to distance. I changed the subject to his kids, hanging up with a knot in my stomach. Friends added layers to the disruption, turning casual connections into minefields. My best friend, Alex, texted about our usual Friday gym session. "Ready to lift heavy, man? New PRS awaits." I ignored it at first, but he showed up at my door unannounced that evening, knocking insistently with a six-pack in hand. Peeking through the peephole, panic surged, the hoodie hid my body somewhat. But my face? I opened the door a crack. "Whoa, Mark. You look puffed up like a balloon. What happened? Fight club gone wrong?" He pushed past me into the apartment, eyes scanning my swollen features, the loose clothes. Awkward silence stretched as we sat on the worn leather couch, beers unopened. "Spill it, seriously," he demanded, his tone shifting from joke to worry. I confessed partially. Medical procedures. Big changes. Whispers of doubt flickered in his eyes. "You mean like cosmetic stuff? For real?" Stares lingered on my softened jaw, fuller lips, and embarrassment flooded me like a system crash. I ushered him out after a tense half-hour, tears pricking my eyes once alone. Neighbors compounded the tension, whispers in the apartment hallway as I grabbed mail from the box. "That's Mark's place," heard his looking different now, almost like a woman. Daily errands like a quick grocery run were nightmares, stares from shoppers in the fluorescent-lit aisles, a cashier doing a double-take at my ID. Sir? Your total is $45.67. Confusion reigned supreme, fear of constant misgendering or outright hostility, embarrassment in every public interaction, the struggle to navigate a world that saw me as an anomaly. By evening, collapsed on the couch with takeout I barely tasted, emotions raw and tangled, fear of permanent isolation, embarrassment staring back from every reflective surface, confusion over the budding sense of comfort in this transformed body amid the chaos. Life wasn't paused for recovery, it was shattered and rebuilding, piece by painful, permanent piece. Thursday night. With the apartment dimmed to soothing twilight hues from the setting sun filtering through sheer curtains, curiosity finally won over the lingering caution and fear. The city sounds outside, distant sirens wailing, a neighbor's TV murmuring through the walls, faded to a distant hum as I locked the bedroom door with a decisive click, my heart thudding with a mix of anticipation and trepidation. This was my private sanctuary, sacred and judgment-free, no one to witness but the woman in the mirror. Just to understand what this really means, I told myself, standing before the full-length glass mounted on the closet door, the room lit softly by a bedside lamp casting warm, inviting shadows across the beige carpet. I stripped slowly, bandages fully off now per the doctor's follow-up instructions, revealing the full, healed extent of my new form. Skin glowed with a softness I'd never known, almost ethereal. Breasts full and sensitive, nipples pebbling instantly in the cool, conditioned air, sending unexpected shivers, hips curved invitingly, buttocks rounded from the grafts, creating a natural sway even standing still. Sensory overload hit like a wave, the faint clinical scent from healing ointments mixing with my altered natural aroma, now softened by the hormones coursing through me. Exploration began incrementally, building tension like a slow-revealing code. Lingerie from the discreet online order I'd placed pre-surgery. A black lace bra with underwire for support. Clasping it behind my back felt profoundly intimate, the straps adjusting with a satisfying snap, cupping my tenderness perfectly. Matching thong next, smooth silk sliding up my smooth legs with a hushed whisper, settling between the curves in a way that felt both vulnerable and empowering. Internal dialogue raced like debug logs. This is permanent now. Own it, Marissa. Feel how it hugs, how it enhances. Excitement sparked low in my belly as I posed side to side, the lace's intricate texture teasing against hypersensitive skin, raising goosebumps. Makeup followed. I sat at the small vanity I'd assembled in the corner, ring lights haloing my face for precision. Cleanser first to wipe away the day's minimal grime, leaving skin fresh, primer smoothing over every pore, foundation in a perfect match blending flawlessly with a damp beauty sponge that bounced softly. Contour powder sculpted my new cheekbones further. Blush in rose for a healthy glow, highlighter dusted on high points to catch the light like diamonds. Eyeshadow in sultry plums and golds, blended meticulously with fluffy brushes that felt like gentle caresses. Eyeliner winged with liquid precision, steady hand now from practice. Lashes curled and coated in volumizing mascara. Lipstick in deep crimson, the tube clicking open with a pop, the creamy color applied with a brush for bold, defined fullness. Clothes layered on next, each piece a discovery. A satin slip dress in rich emerald green, the zipper purring smoothly up my back as I reached, the fabric clinging like a second skin, accentuating every curve. Heels, strappy black stilettos with a 4-inch lift, buckled around my ankles, the leather cool and tight. I practiced walks across the carpet, muffling the clicks at first, hips swaying naturally with each step, balance improving as muscles adapted to the new center of gravity. Accessories added layers. A delicate silver necklace dangling cold against my collarbone, perfume spritzed on pulse points, floral notes of jasmine and vanilla warming with my body heat, evolving into something uniquely mine. Behavior experiments ramped up, voice recordings on my phone app. Hello, I'm Marissa. Playback revealing a melodic, confident tone after several takes. Curiosity peaked with self-touch, fingers tracing lace edges, shivers of pleasure rippling through. Dancing slowly to soft jazz streaming from my speaker, the dress twirling around my legs like a lover's embrace. Small discoveries unfolded like petals on a blooming flower. How sheer stockings rolled up my legs with compressive, silky smoothness, making them look endlessly long and toned. How nail polish in a matching crimson caught the lamplight on my fingers, making every gesture feel more deliberate and graceful. How different wigs, straight bob for sleek sophistication, curly updo for playful volume, altered my entire mood and presence. Excitement built to a fever pitch, heart racing as I posed for private mirror selfies, deleted for privacy, but vulnerability whispered in the background. This is you now, forever. Embrace the power, but remember the fragility. By the early hours of dawn, I carefully removed every layer. Makeup wipes erasing the glamour, clothes folded neatly into drawers, but the thrill lingered like an afterglow, a profound self-unmasking that left me breathless. Friday extended the secret explorations into morning and afternoon rituals, the apartment quiet save for the hum of my computer fan in the office. I brewed coffee in a silk robe that tied loosely at the waist, experimenting with breakfast as Marissa. Avocado toast plated elegantly on china with a side of fresh berries, sipped slowly from a mug rather than gulped down in haste. Internal monologue hummed positively. This is nurturing, intentional. Why rush when you can savor? The bathroom turned into a full ritual space, serums applied with dropper precision, tingling refreshingly on skin, face masks hydrating and plumping, the cool gel cracking as it dried before peeling off to reveal even softer, radiant features. Afternoon brought physical experimentation. Yoga from an online tutorial on my laptop, dressed in form-fitting leggings that hugged my legs like a second skin and a sports bra that supported without constricting, poses adapting fluidly to my new balance, downward dog stretching hamstrings more deeply, warrior pose feeling empowered in its grounded strength. Excitement surged with each controlled breath, discoveries in flexibility and poise that felt innate to this permanent form. Makeup advanced to bolder territories. Vibrant red lips for drama, smoky eyes blended with shadows that shimmered under artificial light. Voice practice deepened. I scripted fake conversations for work or social scenarios. Yes, I'd love to collaborate on that project. Playback sounding convincingly feminine and assertive, boosting my inner thrill. Evening cooking became an artistic endeavor. A steak seared to perfection in my cast-iron pan, aromas of garlic and rosemary filling the kitchen warmly, plated with roasted veggies and a glass of red wine. Discoveries mounted. The subtle power in nurturing oneself through creation, curiosity evolving into a genuine affinity for these rituals. Fear of the outside world still whispered, but excitement drowned it out, pushing me inexorably toward the inevitable public steps. This hidden world of self-discovery was no longer sufficient. It begged to be tested, to bloom in the light of day. Saturday marked the tentative steps of personal growth, confidence nudging me beyond the apartment's safe confines. Just a short park walk to test the waters. I convinced myself, dressing in high-waisted jeans that flattered my hips, a flowy blouse in pastel blue tucked in, and comfortable flats for ease. Anxiety knotted my stomach like tangled code. What if old acquaintances spotted me? What if I wasn't ready? But stepping into the crisp weekend sunlight, the neighborhood park's green lawns and chirping birds welcoming, excitement overtook the nerves. Strangers passed with polite nods. A woman on a bench smiled. "Love your blouse. Where'd you get it?" My voice, steady now, replied, "Online find, thanks." The words flowed naturally, a small victory that made my heart soar, passing without question, blending seamlessly. Sunday pushed boundaries further with a charity gala invite from an online support group I'd joined pre-surgery. I dressed elegantly, a fitted gown in navy velvet, jewelry sparkling, heels adding height. Social mingling, introductions as Marissa, conversations flowing. "You're absolutely radiant," a stranger complimented, handshaking warmly. Internal shift was profound, comfort settling in the new persona, excitement dominating residual anxiety, small victories accumulating like compiled successes. Monday's climax erupted like a system overload at an in-office presentation my boss mandated for a major client pitch. Remote no longer sufficed. Dressed as Marissa fully, a tailored skirt suit in charcoal gray, blouse tucked neatly, heels clicking assertively on the lobby tile. Colleagues in the boardroom gawked as I entered. "Mark? What happened?" Karen stammered, others whispering urgently. Tension escalated like rising voltage, fear choked me, embarrassment flooding as tears threatened under perfectly applied mascara. Hide the truth or confront it head-on. Emotional turmoil peaked. This could end my career, my relationships, I thought, heart thundering against the silk. But the pivotal decision crystallized in that charged moment. Embrace it fully. It's Marissa now. I've transitioned permanently. Let's focus on the pitch. Silence hung heavy, broken by Josh's nod. "Okay, welcome, Marissa." Tuesday's resolution dawned with liberating clarity. I chose to live as Marissa unapologetically, permanent changes not a burden, but a badge. Acceptance bloomed within like debugged code running smoothly. Confidence radiated in meetings, pitches delivered with newfound poise. Positive transformation showed in interactions. Karen pulled me aside. "I'm here if you need support." Brother Dave visited, eyes wide but hugging tightly. I love you, sis, whatever makes you happy. Friends like Alex adapted. You're still you, just you are. Online communities for trans individuals welcomed me warmly, stories shared fostering belonging and recognition, posts liking my anonymous shares, virtual hugs and chats. Empowerment surged like optimized software. I wasn't diminished by the feminization. I was amplified, stronger in my authentic, permanent self. Looking back on that transformative journey from shock to empowerment, I realized permanent feminization wasn't just about the body, it unlocked the courage to live authentically. Fear melted into curiosity, struggle into self-discovery. If you're contemplating your own changes, know this: embracing your truth, no matter how permanent, leads to a life of genuine freedom and strength. You've got the power within. Step into it boldly.